Look at all the maintenance crews and all of the various, hubs that they're in where you have to take care of these robo taxis. And just imagine we have 1 billion robots. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the largest repair industry on the planet.
So that's Jensen Huang, CEO and founder of NVIDIA, speaking on the No Priors podcast. And what stood out to me in this interview, and the reason I'm covering it for you guys, is the fact that he pushes back on almost every major AI narrative going around right now. The idea that AI kills jobs, that we're in some massive AI bubble, and that one all-knowing God AI is just around the corner. Instead, he lays out a very different picture of what's actually happening right now, and which industries are going to feel it first. Let's get into it.
If generative AI, if chatbots, let's just go, OpenAI and Anthropic and Gemini, if none of that existed today, NVIDIA would be a multi-$100 billion company. And the reason for that is because, as you know, the foundation of computing is shifting to accelerated computing. That's the first thing to realize is to take a step back and ask yourself, what is actually happening? Now the next layer up. The question about AI now becomes, what is AI? Now we ask the AI bubble question, and we always go back to OpenAI's revenues. 100%, don't we? Mm-hmm. You ask somebody, hey, is there an AI bubble? Everybody goes directly to OpenAI's revenues. First of all, if OpenAI currently has twice the capacity, their revenues would double. You guys know that. Mm-hmm. If they have 10 times the capacity, I really believe their revenues would 10 times. And so they need capacity. This is no different than NVIDIA needs wafers from TSMC. Just because, NVIDIA exists and we're doing great doesn't mean we don't need capacity. We need capacity. We need capacity of DRAM. And so in our world, it's sensible to everybody. We need capacity. Well, in their world, they need factories. Mm-hmm. And if they don't have factory capacity, how do they generate tokens? Which is where we started our conversation today. And so they need factory capacity in order to increase their revenue growth. But nonetheless, we also said that AI is more than chatbots. It includes all these different fields of science. NVIDIA's AV business is coming up on $10 billion. Nobody ever talks about that. And because you have to train world models, you have to train these AI AVs, and it's happening, robo-taxis happening all over the world. Our AI work with digital biology, our AI work in financial services, the whole industry of quantitative trading is moving towards, yeah, exactly. There used to be classical machine learning, a whole bunch of human featured, they call quants, right? These specialized mathematicians were trying to figure out what the predictive features are. Now we use AI to figure it out. And so in order to have, instead of having quants, you need a lot of supercomputers. Financial services is one of our fastest growing segments. Billions of dollars in quants, in financial services, billions of dollars in AV, billions of dollars in robotics coming up, billions of dollars in digital biology.
So his point is pretty simple. This isn't a hype bubble. It's a capacity problem. Demand isn't collapsing. It's actually outrunning the infrastructure. And as you're about to see, he approaches the job loss question with this same kind of framing. Not what jobs get replaced, but what industries expand. Take a look.
If NVIDIA was more productive, it doesn't result in layoffs. It results in us doing more things.
I met your new hire class today. You seem to be hiring every week anyway. Yeah,
and that's exactly right.
Yeah,
right. The more productive we are, the more ideas we can explore, the more growth as a result, the more profitable we become, which allows us to pursue more ideas. And so I think you're absolutely right that if the job, if your life, if the world, the problems is literally already specified, and there's no other problem to solve, then productivity would actually reduce the economy. But it's clearly going to increase the economy. I think that the next part that I would consider is, people say, gosh, all of these robots that we're talking about is going to take away jobs. As we know very clearly, we don't have enough factory workers. Our economy is actually limited by the number of factory workers we have. Most people are having a very hard time retaining their workers. We also know that the number of truck drivers in the world is severely short. And the reason for that is people don't want those jobs where you have to travel across the country and live in different parts of the world, different parts of the country, every single night. And so people want to stay in their town, stay with their families. And so I think the first part is that having robotic systems is going to allow us to cover the labor shortage gap, which is really, really severe and getting worse because of aging population.
Mm-hmm.
This is not only in the United States, it's all over the world, as you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to cover the labor shortage. But the second part that people forget, and as a result, we'll grow the economy.
There are shortages as well in other places that people talk about AI being relevant. Accounting would be an example where there's shortages there. Nursing is another example. So
Severe
you can go through multiple other industries and say, okay, there's gaps.
That's right.
And AI is trying to help fill those gaps.
That's exactly right. And so automation is going to help us increase and solve the labor gap. Now, people also don't remember that when we have cars, we need mechanics to take care of our cars.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the robo taxis that are even on the streets today, it's taken 10 years for that to happen. Look at all the maintenance crews and all of the various, hubs that they're in where you have to take care of these robo taxis. And just imagine we have 1 billion robots.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the largest repair industry on the planet. So I think a lot of people they just have to think through.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part where you said, when we create this type of automation, we create this other job.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, look at AI is creating so many jobs.
Mm-hmm.
The AI industry is creating a boom of jobs.
So yeah, I definitely agree with him to an extent. His argument is basically that increased productivity doesn't shrink the economy. It expands it, often in ways we haven't even thought through yet, like the emergence of entirely new industries, say a massive robot repair industry for all the robots we're going to have. And he also points to a bunch of sectors that are already facing real shortages: nursing, healthcare, truck driving, manufacturing, that would honestly benefit from a wave of digital workers coming in to help. But what he doesn't really talk about is the long term. Because yes, AI will create new jobs, entirely new industries, and it will absolutely fill gaps in areas that need it badly. But what happens when AI can truly do any job better than a human, including the new ones it creates, and human labor starts to become a net negative? At that point, we're no longer just talking about expanding industries. We're talking about fundamentally changing what work even means. And by extension, our entire way of living and what it means to be human in this day and age. Now, we'll save the existential talk for another video, because one of the big things Jensen keeps emphasizing in this interview is that a lot of the AI narratives floating around right now, on both sides, are just way too extreme. Check this out.
I think the counter narrative here that is worth addressing is that essentially, there should be a monolithic vertical player and monolithic asset in the one model that does it all,
Mm-hmm.
and that we can't give away that crown jewel to other countries or non-American companies.
Mm-hmm.
And your argument is we actually need this huge diversity of AI applications, and the American advantage is actually, or any sovereign advantage is in the whole stack, right?
Mm-hmm.
The capability to deliver any piece of it.
I guess someday we will have God AI.
Mm-hmm.
But
when is that day?
But that someday is probably on biblical scales. I think galactic scales. I think it's not helpful to go from where we are today to God AI.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any company practically believes they're anywhere near God AI. And nor do I see any researchers having any reasonable ability to create God AI. The ability to understand human language and genome language and molecular language and protein language and amino acid language and physics language, all supremely well.
Mm-hmm.
That God AI just doesn't exist. And yet we have a lot of industries that need AI.
Mm-hmm.
AI is, if you will, at the simplistic level, it's just the next computer industry.
Mm-hmm.
And give me an example of a company, an industry, a nation who doesn't need computers.
Mm-hmm.
And we all don't have to wait around for God AI for us to advance, right? So God AI is not showing up next week. I'm fairly certain of that.
Okay,
and God AI is not going to show up next year, but the whole world needs to move forward next week, next year, next decade. I think that the idea of a monolithic, gigantic company,
mm-hmm.
country, nation state that has God AI is just
It's unhelpful.
It's unhelpful. It's too extreme. Then, in fact, if you want to take it to that level, then we ought to just all stop everything. What's the point of having even governments? I mean, why are they doing policies? God AI is going to be smart enough to avert, work around any policy. And so what's the point? And so I think that we ought to bring things back to the ground level and start thinking about things practically and use common sense.
So the takeaway there is pretty simple. We don't need to wait around for some mythical God AI to show up before things start changing in very real ways. And as Jensen puts it, thinking about AI like that is actually kind of unhelpful. It pushes the conversation to an extreme that just isn't grounded in where the technology actually is. Now, obviously, that's his take. You can agree or disagree. But I actually think it's far more likely we see a bunch of domain-specific superintelligences emerge first, rather than one single system that can do everything. It's just more practical. And that's exactly why in this next clip, he points to very specific fields that he thinks are about to have their own ChatGPT moment, starting with digital biology.
Do you have any thoughts or predictions in terms of what the next breakthrough industries will be, or new applications or areas that you're most excited about coming in 26 in particular? Like, are there one or two things that you think will?
Because of three things. Because of a couple, two, three things. I think several industries are going to experience their ChatGPT moment. I believe that multi-modality and very long context is going to enable, of course, really, really cool chatbots. But the basic architecture, that in combination with breakthroughs in synthetic data generation, is going to help create the ChatGPT moment for digital biology.
Mm-hmm.
That moment is coming.
And by digital biology, do you specifically mean other aspects of like protein folding and protein binding, or do you mean diagnosis?
Synthesis.
I see, protein synthesis.
I think we're good at protein understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, multi-protein understanding is coming online, and we recently created a model called La Proteina. It's open. It's for multi-protein understanding and representation learning and generation. So I think that the protein understanding is advancing very quickly. Now protein generation is going to advance very quickly. ChatGPT moment, proteins.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting companies working on molecule design in an end-to-end way, like
That's
Chai.
right. Exactly. Yeah. And then of course, chemical understanding and chemical generation, and then protein, chemical conformation, understanding, and generation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? And so that combination, the ChatGPT moment, the generative AI moment, all of that stuff is coming together for digital biology.
So I think this part honestly gets understated. I mean, we're talking about AI being able to simulate biology. And once you can do that, the implications go way beyond just better drugs. This is why people start saying things like AI could cure all disease, massively accelerate climate solutions, or even change how we think about aging. And that's honestly just a tip of the iceberg. I mean, think about it this way. Our biology is essentially our programming. It's the software we run on. And if we can now simulate that software, edit it, stress test it, and see the outcomes in real time, then yeah, things get very weird, very fast. And what's wild is that this isn't staying in the lab. Jensen says the same shift that's happening in biology is starting to happen in the physical world too. Once you add reasoning, memory, and long horizon planning, AI stops being just software and starts becoming something that can act. And that's where cars and robots come in.
The second area that I'm excited about, of course, reasoning made huge breakthroughs in language, but because of reasoning, cars are going to be able to perform better. So instead of just perception cars and planning cars, they're going to be reasoning cars. So these cars are going to be thinking all the time. And when they come up to a circumstance they've never encountered before, they can break it down into circumstances they have encountered before and construct a reasoning system for how to navigate through it. And so the out of domain, out of distribution part of AI is going to very much be addressed by reasoning systems. And as a result, we could do more things than we were taught to do. Between generative AI and multimodal, vision, language, action models, and reasoning systems, I think we're going to see big breakthroughs in humanoid robots or multi-embodiment robots.
You went into great detail about what's happening, particularly in China. I just wanted to go over something that I felt wasn't asked, which is fiscal second quarter sales, $45 billion plus or minus 2%. $8 billion of lost revenue opportunity, specifically relating to China in H20. It seems as if you made up somewhere some demand for a different product or from a different geography or from a different corner of the market. What was that?
Well, we got a whole bunch of engines firing right now. The biggest one, of course, is the reasoning AI inference. The demand is just off the charts. You see the popularity of all these AI services now, ChatGPT, Gemini, so on and so forth, Grok. I mean, they're just doing incredibly well across the board. And all of the APIs that they serve out and all the agentic AI services that are built on top of them, they're all doing incredibly well. I think that there's just a giant breakthrough in AI's capability, and inferencing has just become a giant workload. Second, people realize that Blackwell is just a home run. NVLink 72 is a home run architecture. We designed it to be a thinking machine, a reasoning AI system, and I think people now, the confluence of the breakthrough in reasoning AI and the availability, now the emergence of Grace Blackwell NVLink 72, perfect timing. I think that's at the core, a big part of it. And the second part of it is that our supply chain is growing and we're really ramping it up and they're doing fantastically for us. And so all of these things are all coming together.
And so it is fair to say that some of that additional supply on Blackwell and the demand for Blackwell kind of made up for the opportunity lost in China, at least in the outlook for this current period?
Yeah, I guess so. But, you can't underestimate the importance of the China market. This is the second largest AI market. This is the home of the world's largest population of AI researchers. And we want all of the world's AI researchers and all of the world's developers to be building on American stacks.
Jensen, I surveyed our Bloomberg Technology audience around the world for questions for you. And I think the most common question is understanding who NVIDIA's customers are away from the hyperscalers, but actually many questions about Elon Inc. and whether Tesla and XAI in aggregate might actually be one of the biggest customers you have. You think about not just the data center chips, but there's chips specific for Optimus or in the cars, the Omniverse component. Could you speak a little about that?
We do a lot of business with Tesla and XAI. Elon's, as you know, is just an extraordinary engineer, and I love working with him. We've built some amazing computers together. We're going to build many more computers together, and the work that he's doing in Grok, his self-driving car, his Optimus. These are all, every single one of them world-class. Every single one of them revolutionary. Every single one of them are going to be gigantic opportunities. And we're delighted. I'm delighted to be working with him on that. And so I think the Optimus opportunity is just right around the corner. It's very likely that human robots are going to be robots that we can deploy into the world relatively easily. And this is the first robot that really has a chance to achieve the high volume and technology scale necessary to advance technology. And so I think this is likely to be the next multi-trillion-dollar industry. I'm very excited for him.
Jensen, let's end by talking about Europe. You alluded to a trip you're taking next week. It sounds as if the infrastructure build out in Europe is coming. Where will you be visiting and who will you be speaking with?
Well, I'm going to leave the who as a surprise for all of you, but I'll be seeing lots of heads of states, and I'll be in France and UK and Germany and Belgium, and I think that it's very clear now that every country recognizes that artificial intelligence, like electricity, like internet, like communications, is part of a national infrastructure. No society could do without intelligence, as you know, and there's an awakening that every country has to take some initiative to ensure that their country and their society has access to artificial intelligence. And so we're really delighted to be able to work with work with the European countries to bring AI infrastructure to them and work with them to build AI factories. There's an umpteen number of AI factory projects in discussion and development, so I'm really excited to make this trip. We're going to be all over Europe.
The world of AI is moving at an unbelievable pace, and if there's one person at the helm of this revolution, it's Elon Musk. But this time, it's not just Tesla's electric vehicles or SpaceX's rockets leading the charge. It's a much deeper, more intricate game that Musk is playing, one that could radically transform the future of technology and industries across the globe. And according to NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang, if Elon succeeds in this next venture, he might just own the entire market. From concept to execution, Musk's ability to pull off ambitious projects at a speed no one else can match is nothing short of extraordinary. We've already seen it with Tesla's self-driving cars, SpaceX's reusable rockets, and now, AI. We're not just talking about any AI, but reasoning AI, systems that don't just respond to queries, but think through problems in a human-like way. And Elon is quietly building the infrastructure to make this next leap happen faster than anyone imagined. Think about it. We're on the verge of AI models that don't just provide answers. They reason, they adapt, and they think critically. Jensen Huang explains that the more computing power you pour into these models, the smarter they become, which creates an arms race of sorts, not just between companies, but between entire countries. The battle for AI dominance is as real as it gets, and Elon is playing to win. Now, let's talk about the tech behind it all. We're talking about supercomputers capable of processing data faster than ever before. What Elon is building through Tesla, xAI, and SpaceX is nothing short of a convergence of power, speed, and scale that could redefine how industries operate. It's about AI-driven systems that power everything from self-driving cars to humanoid robots. And if Elon gets it right, this could change the way we live and work forever. But here's where it gets interesting. Jensen Huang, who knows a thing or two about pushing boundaries in AI, points out that Elon is building an infrastructure so massive that it might leave competitors in the dust. While companies like NVIDIA continue to make strides with chips and software, it's Musk's ability to assemble the right people, technology, and resources to deliver at scale that's most impressive. And with NVIDIA's support, this collaboration could give Elon the edge he needs to dominate AI across multiple industries. The pace at which Musk moves, and his ability to scale projects at an unheard-of rate, sets him apart from everyone else. While others might take years to build out complex AI systems, Musk is pulling it off in a matter of months. With Tesla's AI factory, the infrastructure for reasoning AI, and NVIDIA's cutting-edge technology, the pieces are falling into place faster than anyone expected. But here's the kicker. The stakes are incredibly high. If Elon pulls this off, it could mean the end of competition in AI for the foreseeable future. So, what does all this mean? Will Elon Musk's relentless push for smarter, faster AI bring about an entirely new era of technological domination? Or will he face unexpected obstacles that slow down his progress? The future of AI is up for grabs, and Elon is positioned like never before to take it all. In this video, we'll dive into the breakthrough technology Jensen Huang is talking about, explore how Elon Musk is accelerating his AI ambitions, and why this shift could completely change the market. Strap in, because this is the beginning of a technological arms race, and if Elon Musk gets his way, the game could be over before anyone even realizes it.
What DeepSeek has done is it open-sourced a new type of state-of-the-art AI model called reasoning models. Reasoning models are basically models that think. Instead of you asking the chatbot a question and it instantly spews out an answer.
Right now, we're watching AI change faster than ever, and NVIDIA is right at the center of it. From powering smarter AI models to navigating new challenges with China and Washington, NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang is showing how this technology is shaping the future. In this video, we're going to break down what Jensen is saying, why it matters, and how recent moves, like DeepSeek's rise and new export rules, are setting the stage for what's coming next.